Everybody, this is Joseph Spivey, and I wanted to take you through a few important things about our Moodle website. Um, so, first of all, I want you to take a look at this upcoming events block. So, over here, I post all the due dates for things, like tests and homework. So, at any given time, you'll know what's coming up by checking this upcoming events block. Note that I don't generally in class say, oh, you've got a homework assignment tonight. I just post it to Moodle and expect that you will go and take a look at it uh, and know what's coming up and when. The tests are already programmed into Moodle, so about a week or 10 days ahead of time, you'll get a little reminder up here that test 1 or test 2 or test 3 or the final exam or whatever is coming up. So it's a really useful feature of Moodle. The second useful thing about Moodle is that you can figure out what your grade is at any time in the class. So let's see, if I go up here to course administration grades, this is what the grade book looks like. You'll see a whole bunch of assignments that we'll have in the class, and there will be more assignments as we go through. And right now there are no grades listed, partly because nothing has been graded, and partly because since this is a user report for me, and I'm not grading myself. Anyway. This shows what the grades are, and at the very bottom, it gives your course total. So at any moment, it averages everything and tells you how you're doing in the class at any given moment. So there are two reasons that I like this system. One is that it allows you to know your progress in the class at any moment, and I think that's important. But secondly, and I think even more importantly, this allows me to have transparency in my grading. Okay, so sometimes I make mistakes, and and it could very well be that I enter your grade incorrectly. That happens. That happens sometimes. So what I want for you to do is to take a look at your grades fairly often and make sure that the grades that I have down for you are your actual grades. And if there's a discrepancy, let me know so that we can fix that. I don't want to make mistakes, and it's helpful to have someone else checking on me to make sure that those grades are correct. So I'm happy to chat with you anytime you notice a discrepancy. So I hope that you'll bring that to my attention. But again, the transparency is a really nice feature of Moodle. That's one of the reasons that I use the gradebook. All right, so let's go back to the main Moodle site. So if I click here, I go back to the main Moodle site. Let's see. I'm going to take you through these resources here in this block. So first of all, here are the office hours. Here's a link to the syllabus. I'll be going through the syllabus in more detail in the second video that we've got. So the next link is to the Wofford College Honor Code. So the Honor Code is important in this class as in all classes. And there is a link to it, so that so make sure you know what's in there. The next link is about peer tutoring. So it is possible to get a free peer tutor for this class to help with your homework or to help study for tests or to explain things to you or whatever. It's a really useful resource. These peer tutors are people who have excelled in the class in the past and who are willing to meet with you periodically. So if you want more information about obtaining a free peer tutor, again, it's free, costs you nothing. If you want more information about obtaining a free peer tutor, click on this link, and it will tell you how to get one. The next three links are about our textbook. So we have a digital textbook with interactive figures. And so in order to get access to it, then you'll need some special software. So first, you'll need to download this free app called Wolfram CDF Player. So if you click on that link, it will take you to another website that will allow you to download this free software. Notice that it pops up as Mac OS because I'm running a Mac right now, but it will automatically detect whatever system you're running and give you the right version of the Wolfram CDF Player. So you'll need to first download and install that software to your computer. So again, that's Wolfram CDF Player. The actual textbook files are here. So if I click on this link, it will take me to what the textbook files look like. Okay. So you can download individual chapters. So for instance, if you wanted to download Chapter 7, you could download Chapter 7 here. Perhaps the easiest way to download the textbook is to download all the files at once. So if you click on this download button right here, the entire textbook will be downloaded as a zip file, so with all those files in there. So that's the easiest way probably to download the text. Let's see. Okay, so once you download the textbook files and you have installed Wolfram CDF Player, you should be able to open those textbook files and interact with the figures, drag sliders around and see how the figures change. Um, if you are a Mac user and you have already installed Wolfram CDF Player and you have the textbook files and you try to open them, but it comes up as sort of a gobbledygook sort of thing. It can't open it, or it comes up as some sort of weird file that you can't make any sense of. If that happens to you, then you should look at this website right here that will give you special instructions on how to fix that issue. Again, that's only for Mac users, and that's only for some Mac users. So if you find yourself in that situation, have trouble opening the textbook, go ahead and take a look at that link next. And if that link doesn't help, you can always come talk to me during office hours or send me an email or call me or whatever, and I can walk you through that as well. I can help you fix that. Okay, so the next two links are about the portfolio. So I'll have a lot more information about that in class as we go. So, but if you want to take a look at it beforehand, this is what the portfolio is going to look like, and this is what the rubric looks like. This is how I'm going to be grading you. Right. I'm going to skip that one for just a moment. I'll come back to it. The next three links just are folders that will have more files in them. The first one is tests and test keys from the last time I taught this course, which was spring 2014. So you can look at exactly the test that I gave last time. It is important to note that the class has changed quite a bit from last time I taught it. So it has a very different structure. And so some of the things that were covered on tests the last time are not going to be covered this time. So I've tried to make it really obvious about what is covered and what is not covered on these tests, and I'll continue to talk about that in class as we go forward. But just note that some of the stuff on these old tests you will not be responsible for. If you have any questions about that, any questions at all, then please just ask me, and I'm happy to make it really clear about what is covered and what is not covered. So again, some of that stuff is not going to be covered this time. If you have questions about it, let me know. The reason I post this is really just to give you a sense of what types of questions might show up, to give you a sense of what I might be looking for on a test, and it could be a useful way to study for a test. So take a look at that, but remember the warning. All right. The next link is for test keys for this semester. So when we have tests in this class this semester, then I'll post the keys here. So that's a useful resource for you as well. And finally, there's a link called lecture notes. Lecture notes, I'll post all the lecture notes for the class. So on Wednesday, we'll have a packet that we'll go through. In class. If you lose those notes, or you were absent in class and you'd like a copy of them, you can go to this site. You can go to click on that folder, and you'll have access to them there. Sometimes I get behind on posting them, so if you need some lecture notes and they're not posted there, just email me and I'll make sure to put them in there. Okay, next I want to talk about the WebAssign link. So in this class we have the homework. Most of the homework will be submitted using WebAssign. It's an online homework system. And it gives instant feedback. And I think WebAssign is a really good system for a couple of reasons. The most important reason is that it gives instant feedback. So when people used to do homework by hand and turn it in, they might have to wait a week for it to get graded and be returned. So if you had a misconception, you were doing something wrong on your homework, you wouldn't find out about it until a week has gone by. And at that point, we've already covered new material. And so that could be very bad for your learning. With WebAssign, you submit your answers to questions, to math problems online, and it will tell you instantly whether you got it right or wrong. And that is a really powerful and useful thing to know, because if you're doing something wrong, then maybe you can fix that then, instead of having to wait a week before you have to fix it. You know what I mean? Have to get that right for you. If you are turning in questions and you're getting them wrong, you can always come to office hours and we can get them situated. We can get those questions answered early rather than having to wait until later. So I think that's a really, really, really useful thing. The other thing is that it allows me. So on WebAssign homework assignments, I allow 100 submissions. So if you don't get the answer right the first time, you can try again. You can try up to 100 times. So I don't care about when you get a question right. I just care that you do get it right. So if it takes you 2 or 3 times to get it right, that's fine. I've got no problem with that. With the old way of doing homework, that wasn't really possible, right? You couldn't resubmit 1,000 times. So I think WebAssign is a really useful homework system for those two reasons. So if you click on this link the first time, it will establish a link between Moodle and our WebAssign class. When you click on this link, it will take you through setting up an account. So if you've already used WebAssign, if you already have a WebAssign account, then you can link that WebAssign account with this Moodle, and it will tell you how to do that. On the other hand, if you've never used WebAssign, you do not have a WebAssign account, it will take you through the steps of setting up a WebAssign account. So go ahead and do that. So WebAssign is not free. It does cost money. The first week is free. So the first week is grace. And you can access WebAssign for the first week for free. After that, you will need either to type in your credit card number, so you can pay for it that way, or if you went to the bookstore and bought the WebAssign access card, you can type in that code and it will give you access to WebAssign then. Okay? So again, in order to pay for WebAssign, you can either pay using a credit card, or if you went to the bookstore and bought a WebAssign access card, you can use that code to get access to WebAssign. And if you have questions about it, let me know. And finally, I just wanted to sort of show you how the course is organized. So all that stuff is sort of the resources for the class. But underneath that, you'll see that I organized the class by days. So this is all the information about Monday, September 5th. So here are some announcements about office hours this week. And here is your first homework assignment. This is one that you'll type into Moodle directly, and you'll submit your answer that way, and it will be graded, and feedback will be given that way directly as well. So if you click on what is a limit, then you'll be able to add submission, type in your answer there for me to grade it later on. All right, and I think that's all that I wanted to talk about Moodle. In the next video, we'll be going through some of the important course policies as we look through the Math 182 syllabus. But thank you very much, and again, if you have any questions, just let me know.